Hello, so I'm just thinking about the meaning of words and how we use words either metaphorically or literally, and this is in the context of Owen Barfield and his concept of participation, final and original. So, for example, to be more specific, the meaning of words, say, for example, when somebody says they're heartbroken or one loves with the heart, they mean the heart in this sense metaphorically, because in our materialistic age, if one were to take that sentence literally, then one would have to assume that love has got something to do with a pump pumping fluid. Obviously, there's no connection between a pump that pumps fluid and the felt experience of love. However, we're in contradictory times, because the same person will speak very literally about how they think with their brain. This despite the fact that there is just as much of a gap between what the experience or the activity of thinking really is and the physiological structure of the neurons in one's brain. And if this is difficult to see, then one can do a simple example. Say, for example, that somebody might disagree with something I say or think. The mere fact that somebody can disagree with me or somebody else or anyone relies on conceptual space that has been opened up where thinking happens. For it's impossible to agree or to disagree with a momentary configuration of neurons. The neurons and their configuration are what they are. There's nothing to agree or to disagree with it. Furthermore, how do you know what the neurons in my head are doing at this moment in time? You don't. It's impossible. The only way you can agree or disagree with me is if we both enter a conceptual sphere where thinking happens. So this is to illustrate the difference between neurons and their configuration and the activity of thinking. But I'm not going to go on any more about it, because in my experience, if somebody can't tell the difference between concepts and structures of neurons, then I dare say it seems as though they've never really experienced thinking. Just as if somebody can't tell the difference between falling in love and the physical activity of a pump, then it would suggest that they've never really fallen in love. Moving on from this, we've got the other end of the spectrum, where we have people nowadays who might speak very literally about how the heart is a place of feeling and love, and they mean it very literally, and it's like, no, my feelings happen here, I can feel it in my chest. This type of person I feel quite sympathetic towards, and oddly enough, now this is going to sound like I'm contradicting myself, I experience myself as thinking with my head. It's just how I experience it. It's the felt experience. But please, both these people and myself, when we say my feelings are in my heart and my thoughts I think with my head, we're talking about the heart and the head, not in the kind of dead mechanical pump way of conception or the neurological brain tissue conception. We're talking about the heart as being the seat, as being the region of our being where feelings reside. We're talking about the head as being this kind of cosmos or mini cosmos, a world unto itself, where I live with my thoughts and my imaginations. This is a completely different world. We're still calling it the head and the heart, but it's a completely different concept of what these things are. Even in their materiality, it's a completely different concept of what these things are to the kind of very base, materialistic, scientific, oh, the brain's like a biological computer and the heart is like a cardiac pump. So, yeah, I suppose I'll leave it there. There's a subtlety in meaning, and what's really interesting is that when somebody says, I think with my head, or I feel love in my heart, and they're not talking about metaphorically anymore, because they don't experience the heart as just a pump or the head as just a biological computer. They're talking about these organs literally, but not in the modern literal sense. So yeah, anyway, that's food for thought. Hope that's been interesting. Thanks for watching.